All right, welcome back to video number 2. I'm already going through all of the struggles that YouTubers go through because I recorded this video once already and realized that my mic wasn't plugged in, so you couldn't hear anything I was saying. So we're back with another video. This one, fair warning, a little bit better quality in terms of the match play than the last one. As you can see, already one game to myself and Luke, and quickly racking up the first 4 games here because they were a bit quicker, right? We broke actually all of the serves at the start of this set here. All 4 of those games were broken serves, so it wasn't the best quality in terms of our shot selection at the start of this, but it ramps up very quickly, right? This is a bit higher level than the last match, right? There's a couple really good players here, particularly my partner Luke and Dan, who's on the cross court from me, right closest to the camera. They played some really nice shots here, right? Luke, from a tennis background, you can tell, I think, straight away with the way he's kind of brushing the ball and putting a lot of quality on all of his shots. Except for that one there, where you can hear a little scream. Luck was definitely on our side a little bit this match. He's totally shanked the smash and then taken the point on the shot after. And you'll see a few net chords coming up this game as well. But I am a firm believer that you do make your own luck, and definitely in situations like this, right? We did play really well. I was really happy with my performance this match, especially compared to the last match, right? I think I played a lot better, and I definitely owe that a lot to having a strong partner here, right? I was very confident that he was going to get the ball back pretty much whenever it went to his side. I didn't have to worry too much about that, and that allowed me to just put a little bit more quality on some of my shots, maybe take my time a little bit more and think about where I'm going for that shot and maybe the shot following that. That being said, Dan making me look like an absolute mug there. He played a few of those shots down to the cage, really caught me off guard. But still, we take that game. Pretty strong serving. And yeah, Luke was just a big sort of presence at the net, really. He played a lot of bandekkas, if you can call them that. I'm not really sure if you can. These are similar to the sort of pushing that I was talking about in my last video, where I don't think I play bandekkas or viboras yet. I'm more just pushing the ball back and keeping players back while I try and work out how to put a little bit more technique on the ball there. But as you see, Zeke's putting that one into the back glass just by virtue of us getting one more in. To be honest, I don't think I put loads of quality on the ball for these first few games, but there's my first net cord here, and I'm about to get another one after missing the ball. And then even more brutal, really nice lob into the back corner. And then it gives us an opportunity to push them back and take the point here. So yeah, it was a little bit brutal for Dan and Zeke's, I think, at the start of this match. We did get very lucky. We didn't actually take this point. I think it's coming up where we tend to push them back into Zeke's corner. I think that was our strategy. Once we kind of felt the game out a little bit more, we realised that lobbing to that back corner, sort of down my line or cross court for Luke, was really comfortable for us. I think the lobs are actually working really well, right? Just like that one there. I don't think I actually missed a lob really this whole match, and I got quite a lot of practice on the bandekkas, right? Their lobbing was really good too, but it was sitting up quite a lot for me on the back glass, so I had a lot of time to let it sort of come down to my racket and think about where I was going to place that, and I was really happy with some of the bandekkas that I hit this game. Finally didn't let Dan beat me to the cage there and actually won that point. And I think that was a bit of a turning point in the match, because to be honest, there wasn't too many points this match where I played across to Dan and beat him. Right, I think that's something that I would have found very difficult at this level, even though compared to your average beginner and compared to a lot of padel players, right, a 3.5 or 6, like some of the players in this game, is pretty damn good, right? That is a decent level to be at. Even here, that was a good one, right? That was the one that I was waiting for. There's, I think, one more bandekka that's of a good quality like that, right? Good angle down to the fence, and it dies over there. So I'm happy with that one. And again, another bit of an angle on there. I was getting a little bit more comfortable with the overheads. But yeah, as I was saying, even at this level, even though I did hit a couple half winners there, I don't know if you can call that shot down to the cage a full-on winner, but it did win the point. Most of the points at this sort of level are still won by mistakes rather than the shot just being ungettable, right? A lot of it is getting it back, putting the opponent in a somewhat awkward position and just waiting for that ball to not come back, I think, rather than, you know, a drop shot being played or a smash being sent out of the court, right? It's still pretty rare. I think I hit a couple X4s this game. I think it's a lot easier for me to hit an X4 than it is to hit an X3 or to bring the ball back to my side. I don't know if that's a unique experience to myself. I don't think so. I think the X4 tends to be pretty simple, right? Waiting for a sort of short lob or a shanked shot to just dispatch out of the court, because it is a technique-wise a pretty easy shot. But yeah, I'm yet to get consistent on sending the ball back to my side or sending it out of the court. So I'll have to stick with X4s for now in terms of my winners. But as you can see, 5-4 to us here, and the lobbing has been pretty constant, right? Especially down to Zeke's side. We have been putting a lot of quality on those, and yeah, Luke just getting the ball back, you know, shot after shot. He is kind of almost fridging a little bit there, but it is quite natural for two left-handers, I suppose, to play across the court to each other there, and he just kept getting the ball back really until the point was ours, right? It was no instance where a lot of power or effect was put on the ball and it was just ungettable. It is just more a case of getting it back here, right? We're doing some pretty good defending here, right? Like Dan and Zeke's, they both had really nice technique on most of their shots, right? I think the quality that they put on the ball was great, but we were just playing really well at the back, to be honest, quite comfortable. Like I mentioned before, or actually I might have mentioned that in my failed recording that I mentioned, but me and Luke were talking a lot throughout this match, right? We were talking about tactics, but also just talking during the point in general, right? Making sure that we knew where the opposition were and making sure we knew what the other person was going for. And I think it helps massively because, again, Luke, much like James from the last session, he isn't someone that I played with before, right? This was just a Playtomic Open match, and I think it settles your nerves when your partner is talking to you throughout the game, right, and making sure that you know where they're at. And Luke was pretty clear on his communication. There's a nice little X4. That ball actually got stuck in between the two cages from the court right behind us. We never got that one back, so apologies for that. I think they were Dan's balls, but yeah, a little Chiquita into a lob there. I think that's something that I tried to start doing more and more this match, because this match felt like we were playing quite slow almost because we were playing so well. It was quite easy to see where the ball was going throughout the game. It was never a case of kind of panicking or having to move super quickly, because we were quite comfortable at the back of the court, so I could start trying to implement some combinations of shots, right? Not just thinking about the next shot and the next shot. It was more a case of, okay, I know I'm going to play this Chiquita down to his feet so that he can come forwards, and then the lob is a lot easier for me and I can apply a little bit more pressure like you're seeing here. Pretty good lob from Dan to sort of push us back, but this general strategy worked for us really well, right? And Luke had some good Chiquitas throughout this game as well, right? Generally just playing good ground strokes. I think we were pretty comfortable at the back here. They never sort of smashed the ball past us or beat us too many times when we were getting pressured there, and I think that's why we won. I don't think we out-attacked them by any means. I think we were just pretty comfortable keeping the ball in the court, and this probably is the best match that I've played full stop, right, in terms of the overall quality of the four players that were playing, but also from myself and just not missing, right? I've played more matches where I've smashed the ball out of the court a little bit more and, you know, put a little bit more effect on the ball from time to time, but in terms of being consistent and not missing very much, I think I did a pretty good job of that this game, and hopefully, okay, well, ignore that one. That was an attempt at an X4. I'm pretty sure I do redeem that later this match, but yeah, I can be a little bit trigger happy on that sometimes. I don't think that one was even close, and then Zeke hits us with a really brutal drop shot. I think he actually does that again later in the match. That is something that I really haven't added to my game whatsoever. It's not even a shot that really comes into my mind when the ball is coming to me at the net, if I'm honest. But yeah, as you can see, the one thing this match that actually I noticed Luke is quite a lot better than me at, again, is the sort of Bahada Vibora type shot, right? I don't think he's necessarily going for Viboras. I don't think he's a pure paddle player. There's another really good Bandeka. I was really happy with those ones across the court past David, because yeah, I think he is more of a tennis player, so he's not going for specific paddle style shots like that, but generally when he's pushing the ball back and it's coming over his head, he's putting a little bit more pressure on than I do, right? I tend to get the frying pan out, push the ball away, and it could really go anywhere, right? You can see a couple of them hit the side glass, some of them land far too short, so I'm not putting as much pressure on as I could with that type of shot, and I think being able to get a little bit more effect on the ball, brushing around it like a Vibora, or at least putting a little bit of spin on it, like a Bandeka, so I can make Dan and Zeke's lives a little bit harder with that overhead, is something that's going to be super important for me, because I think I let down my sort of net pressure when I don't do that at the moment, because I'm pretty happy with my lobs here, right? Even sort of volley lob I think is something that I'm pretty comfortable with. Again, like you can see there, if I were to get a little bit more effect on the ball, come round it a little bit more, keep it a little bit lower there, that could be a really brutal shot, but I'm sort of pancaking it back to Dan, and he, you know, it's at a good angle, but he's not struggling very much here at all. You can see Luke is a tennis player there. If he was like me, he'd be smashing that into the floor and hoping that it comes out of the court. But Dan actually rescues the drop shot, so they take that game. They really needed that game to stay in the match anyway, but I think this is kind of the turning point soon. Another little Bandeka, not quite as good as the others, but definitely got to mix it up. I think Dan was waiting for that one to go down to the line. Another pretty poor sort of Bahada from me there. That's right, I'm just pushing it up, and Dan can put some pressure on me straight away, but luckily I got the smash down to Zeke's side, so not really missing, right? That's I think the big win of this game. Really nice shot down by Zeke's side from Luke there. But yeah, this game, I think the main reason we won isn't necessarily because we were better at attacking, right? As you can see, Dan is pretty damn good at attacking us and putting pressure on us. He's just smashed the ball out of the court, but it was because we didn't miss quite as much, right? I think we just got one more ball in, kept applying pressure, kept ourselves at the net, had some really good lobs, right? Lobs never something that I've practiced, right? I do sort of have a coach of sorts. I wouldn't really say he's my coach because I have only had 3 sessions with him. There's another X4 being very careful to not touch the net there. Had sort of flicked the wrist quite a lot, but yeah, I wouldn't say my coach is necessarily, you know, someone that I regularly work with, but I have had 3 or 4 sessions with him now, and we've never really focused on the lob, and it's something that's come fairly natural to me instead, and we have basically tried to focus on, you know, the Bandeka and the Vibora more than anything else, because I think they are the most unusual shots, right? You don't really see them in tennis or squash, and I have played a little bit of squash in the past, but they're super important, right? Because you need them to maintain the net here. Otherwise, you have to put so much quality on your volleys, or you really have to smash the ball and win while you're at the front, or eventually the opposition is going to get the ball over your head and they are going to try and push for themselves to get up to the net. So I think we did a pretty good job of at least keeping the ball back, but I would like to just put a lot more quality on that. So hopefully in the future I'll get some videos with my coach. He is pretty good at explaining through the shots, right, and sort of constantly touching on the technique throughout the session, and also explaining a little bit about when and why you're going to be using various shots. So I'll try and maybe get a mic on him, right? First I want to try and mic myself up for a game, see how that sounds, see if the communication is really as high as I think it is as I'm playing. But after that, I'll get a mic on him and you can see his style. He is a GB Masters paddle player, so he is very good at what he does, and he's definitely brought my game on quite a lot, right? You hit the ball so much more in an hour-long one-on-one session than you would even in a 90-minute paddle game, right? Because it is just constant drilling, right? Vibora into volley, or Bahada into volley, something like that. So I'll try and get a session of that sort. But as you can see, we're closing out this match here, right? We have had a break or two, pretty big miss into the back and the side there, so I'm getting a few free points, and you'll see this match actually ends in a pretty dramatic fashion, right? Luke's gonna hit a decent smash here pretty soon. We did put a lot of pressure on them. Very nice Dan sort of getting me back down my side there, but both crashing into each other at the net for the loss. So 2 sets to love.